Most gardeners spend $40 on weed fabric. They staple it down, cover it with mulch, feel good about it for about 6 weeks. Then the weeds come back anyway. Ray Hollis is 58 years old. He farms 800 square feet of vegetable beds in eastern Tennessee. He hasn't pulled a single weed in 3 years. His total soil cover cost, $2. He didn't use landscape fabric. He didn't use plastic sheeting. He didn't use anything invented after 1950. He used the same method recorded in ancient agricultural texts, including scripture, that farmers in the Fertile Crescent used over 3,000 years ago. His beds retain moisture 72 hours longer after rain than his neighbor's uncovered soil. His weed pressure dropped 94% in the first season alone. At 4:20 in this video, I'll show you exactly how to apply this cover layer, with precise measurements. At 7:1, I'll break down the 10-year cost comparison that will make you question every dollar you've ever spent on mulch fabric. This isn't a gardening hack. It's a design that was never supposed to be forgotten. Genesis 1:11, let the earth bring forth vegetation, not let the farmer force it, not let the chemicals suppress it. Let the earth bring it forth. That word, muanu, earth, is not decorative. It is the subject of the sentence. God assigned biological responsibility to the soil itself. The implication is direct. Healthy soil already contains everything needed to grow and suppress. The gardener's job is to protect that system, not replace it. Isaiah 55:10 goes further. As the rain and the snow come down from heaven and do not return to it without watering the earth and making it bud and flourish. Read that as an engineer, not a poet. Rain falls. It enters the soil. It triggers germination and growth. Then it evaporates, and the cycle resets. But here is the problem modern gardeners ignore. Bare soil loses up to 50% of its surface moisture within 24 hours of rain. The water never reaches the root zone. The biological cycle Isaiah describes gets interrupted before it completes. Ancient farmers understood this. They didn't leave soil naked. They covered it with straw, with chaff, with crushed organic material immediately after planting. That cover layer was not aesthetic. It was mechanical. It slowed evaporation. It blocked light to weed seeds. It fed the soil biology underneath as it broke down. Scripture didn't describe a spiritual metaphor here. It described a water retention system. Here is what the research says. University of California Cooperative Extension tested wheat straw mulch at 3 to 4 inches depth across vegetable trial beds. Weed emergence dropped 87% compared to bare soil. No herbicide, no fabric, just straw. The mechanism is simple. Weed seeds need light to germinate. Most common garden weeds, crabgrass, pigweed, purslane, require a minimum light threshold of 2% full sunlight to trigger germination. A 4-inch straw layer transmits less than 1% of surface light. The seeds sit there, they never activate. The USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service measured evaporation rates on covered versus uncovered soil. Organic surface mulch reduced moisture loss by 30 to 50%. That means after 1 inch of rain, covered soil holds usable water for 72 hours longer than bare ground. The root zone stays wet. The plant stays fed. Archaeologists excavating Tel Abu Hurera in northern Syria found evidence of deliberate straw placement over cultivated soil dating to approximately 3000 BCE. Farmers in the Fertile Crescent were not guessing. They observed, repeated, and passed down a system that worked across generations. Oregon State University soil biology research found that decomposing straw mulch increased earthworm density by 3 times within 90 days. More earthworms means deeper aeration channels. Deeper channels mean roots follow water further down, away from surface heat, away from drought stress. One more number. Soil surface temperature under a straw layer runs 8 to 12 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than exposed soil on a summer afternoon. That difference alone reduces root stress significantly during peak heat months. Straw is not primitive. It is a pressure, evaporation, and light control system built from one agricultural byproduct that costs less than a cup of coffee per square foot. Before you apply anything, do 2 quick tests right now. First, grab a handful of your garden soil, squeeze it firmly, open your hand. If it crumbles apart immediately, Your soil is losing surface moisture faster than your plants can use it. That is your baseline problem. Second, pick any 1 square foot of your bed. Count every weed seedling you can see. Write that number down. You will recount in 30 days. Now install. You need one thing: wheat straw, not hay. Hay contains weed seeds. Wheat straw does not. One standard bale costs $5 to $7 at any farm supply store. One bale covers approximately 50 square feet at correct depth. That puts your cost at roughly 0.12 per square foot. Depth is everything. Lay straw at 3 to 4 inches thick. Less than 2 inches and light penetrates. More than 6 inches and you risk surface fungal buildup. 3 to 4 inches is the functional window. Keep straw 2 inches away from every plant stem. Direct contact traps moisture against the base and causes rot. That is the entire installation. No staples, no pins, no tools. Here is what happens next. Within 24 hours, press your hand under the straw layer. The soil beneath will feel noticeably cooler and damp compared to any exposed area nearby. Within 7 days, new weed emergence in the covered area drops by 60 to 70%. The seeds that were already at the surface cannot get the light signal they need. Within 30 days, the bottom layer of straw begins breaking down. It does not disappear. It converts. It becomes organic matter that feeds your soil biology directly. You spent $7. The system started working in 24 hours. This system does not operate on one level. It operates on 3 simultaneously. Tier 1, subsurface. When surface moisture is retained, roots stop chasing water laterally across the top 2 inches of soil. They go down instead. Research from Kansas State University tracked root architecture in straw-covered beds versus bare beds over 60 days. Covered beds showed root penetration 4 to 6 inches deeper on average. Deeper roots reach stable moisture. Stable moisture means the plant stops operating in stress mode. A plant not fighting for water puts that energy into fruit, into structure, into yield. Timeline: 60 days to measurable root depth change. Tier 2, surface. The straw layer at 3 to 4 inches does 3 things at once. It blocks light below 1%. It holds soil temperature 8 to 12 degrees cooler. It slows evaporation by up to 50%. Those 3 functions together create a stable microclimate directly above your root zone. Stable conditions mean consistent biological activity. Consistent biology means the soil feeds the plant on a regular cycle rather than in stress spikes. This layer costs $5 to $7 per season. It requires no maintenance between plantings. Timeline: 24 to 72 hours for measurable moisture retention. Tier 3, soil biology activation. This is where the system compounds. Straw is carbon. Soil bacteria and fungi consume carbon. As the bottom layer of straw breaks down, microbial populations expand. Earthworm density increases 3 times within 90 days according to Oregon State research. Earthworm activity creates channels. Channels allow deeper water infiltration. Deeper infiltration feeds Tier 1. The 3 tiers feed each other in a closed loop. Moisture retained at the surface drives root depth. Root depth stabilizes the plant. Decomposing straw feeds the biology. Biology improves soil structure. Better structure retains more moisture. That loop was running in ancient fields 3,000 years before landscape fabric was invented. The most common mistake in modern gardening is not overwatering. It is not underfeeding. It is plastic, landscape fabric, weed barrier sheeting, black polyethylene ground cover. Every hardware store sells it. Millions of gardeners install it every spring, believing it solves the weed problem permanently. It does not. Penn State Extension tracked landscape fabric performance across residential garden beds over 3 years. By year 3, 78% of users reported equal or worse weed pressure than before installation. The fabric does not stop weeds. It stops decomposition. Weeds eventually root into the fabric itself, making removal nearly impossible without destroying the bed entirely. But the weed problem is not the worst part. Plastic fabric blocks gas exchange at the soil surface. Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. That exchange is how aerobic soil bacteria stay alive. Seal it off and the microbial population collapses within 1 growing season. What was living soil becomes inert substrate. Surface temperature under black plastic fabric reaches 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit above ambient on a summer afternoon. That heat penetrates the top 2 inches of soil, exactly where the majority of beneficial microbial activity occurs. One season under black fabric can suppress soil biology that took years to establish. And root architecture changes. Without consistent surface moisture signaling, roots flatten. They spread horizontally across the top 3 inches, chasing any available water. A shallow root system is permanently vulnerable to heat, to drought, to any disruption at the surface. Proverbs 12:11. He who works his land will have abundant food. Works his land, not seals it, not suppresses it. Plastic fabric does not work the land. It abandons it.